Hello.
Hi.
Hiya, welcome to our webinar. I'm Hannah. I'm Head of Content here at Entice.
And I'm Beck. I am Digital Marketing Manager here at Entice.
And we are here today to talk to you about is there a secret recipe to Google, and why you should be using SEO in your business in 2024. So we'll kick it right off. Beck, is there a secret recipe to Google?
Unfortunately, no. So thank you very much for coming to our webinar. It was great having you. Bye.
Brilliant. Yeah, sorry. Please don't leave it. Yeah.
So no, there isn't, unfortunately. Google is many things.
Yeah, it can actually, we all know it can be a little bit overwhelming. Literally, you have keywords, content, backlinks, internal linking, header tags, meta descriptions,
all the text stuff,
everything. And it literally, when you look at it all like that, it can seem really overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. So we're going to take you through a few little things, sort of what's changed in 2023 and what we can look out for in 2024. So Beck, can you kick it off? Let's start with what's gone.
So we've said goodbye to a few things this year. First thing, Universal Analytics. Universal Analytics. That's been replaced by GA4. Essentially the same thing, just some different data. FAQ schema and how-to schema. So that's one of the tactics you used to use to kind of get those really key snippets on Google. Unfortunately, they're not available anymore unless you're in the medical industry or a government body. And the mobile usability report. Now, this isn't Google saying that mobile isn't important anymore. It just means that Google can see that there's other tools around the internet that are more useful or just as useful, so it's not needed anymore. So if you miss it, Google Lighthouse is a good alternative to the mobile usability report.
Brilliant, thanks. And so what are your predictions for 2024? Can you tell us what might be coming?
So for me, I'll go into one thing that is coming in 2024, but it's quite hard to see where Google's going to go next. Google's always trying to update, but it will typically update based on the current climate, what's happening in the world. So to give a few examples, we have Google Images. So in 2001, when Jennifer Lopez wore this iconic green Versace dress, there was so much demand to see pictures of this Versace dress that Google invented Google Images as a result.
It is kind of mad actually to think that J-Lo invented Google Images and how iconic do you have to be really? You wear one dress,
a label.
You change the internet.
And then more recently, obviously, I think we take for granted the fact that we actually haven't had really good internet on our phones for that long.
Yeah.
I remember the time when I was in college and you click the internet button, you'd have to click off really quickly.
Yeah, absolute panic when you see Internet Explorer. It's like, oh my God, I'm going to put my parents out of a home. This is going to
exactly.
the earth.
But obviously, as more and more of us use our mobiles and we're accessing the internet through our mobile phones, Google noticed this. So in 2016, they started to kind of prioritize mobile first more. In October of this year, they concluded their algorithm work. So now every single website is indexed mobile first rather than desktop. So it's so important to have your mobile responsive on. Yeah. No, your website mobile responsive.
100%, yeah, definitely. So, is there anything that we definitely know is coming in 2024 the business should know about?
We certainly do. So, search generative experience. So this is currently on its test stages. This is kind of a mock-up, if you can see on this GIF on the right-hand side. This is from Google itself. So what essentially search generative experience is going to do is use AI to answer people's questions around the internet. So for people in SEO, for website users, for website owners, it can be a bit daunting because obviously it's going to quite drastically change how we do SEO. Obviously, this comes as a result of ChatGPT last year and being introduced and Bing taking that into their own search engine. So Google obviously had to follow behind.
Yeah, huge.
Yep. So we've had Bard this year, which
not so huge.
Yeah. But so this is Google's attempt to bring in AI. So while we're uncertain how this could affect traffic, there are some massive opportunities for businesses in this realm. So one of these will be video.
Yeah, and we all know that video is absolutely huge anyway.
Exactly.
I mean, it should be a huge focus for any business in 2024 anyway, but even more so now, I'd say, with SGE coming in.
Exactly. It should be a big part of your SEO strategy. And it will also introduce pre-queued. You might have already seen these already. So if you ask Google a question on YouTube, it will take you directly to that section of the video. So it's going to be massively important. Also high quality content, which Hannah will go into in more detail later. And on the back of this, author bios. So we want to show Google the experience behind this content. So author bios are going to be really important. To do this, we need structured data. So your structured data will show what the author, what type of content, when it was published. Tell Google all about this content. So yeah, that will probably require a web developer, but that's okay. So Hannah, what are some tactics we can use in 2024? SGE aside, we do want to incorporate SGE, but what are some tactics we can use?
Okay, so the first place I would say to start then would be look at your content. So SEO has come a long way from simply inserting appropriate keywords. Algorithm, thankfully, is now sophisticated enough to understand topics and the words that will be associated with it. So it makes us easier to rank now just by creating high quality content, which is brilliant and perfect for us. So I would say when you look at your content, all content should be on brand and creative. It goes without saying, but I think it's so easy when you're kind of focusing on SEO to start creating content for content's sake. Exactly. And you forget that all your content should be reflective of your brand. It should be reflective of your values. And of course, creativity, as I would say, is key. It is key, though. You want people
find value.
Exactly. It should be valuable to your audience, and you want that hook. You want it to be interesting to read. You don't want just a big long keyword list, really. But saying that, it should also be well researched and include keywords. Exactly. So I know. So yeah, really do your research here. Make sure that those keywords. It really is important that people find your content as well as find it interesting, and data driven. So I would say dive into your insights. If you're trying to decide what type of content to create, have a look at what works for you. Yeah. And it is just as simple as just going back through your old content and finding what that is. I'm going to go through that in a little bit more detail in a second, but also just a point that everything should work hard. So you don't want to put all of this time in creating on-brand stuff, making it really creative, researching, going into your insights, doing everything, for you to just post it at once and never look at it again.
Forget about it.
Yeah, exactly. Go back through your content. What blog posts performed really well? What could you turn into social content? Vice versa. Why could you do it the other way around? Are there any old blogs that were really well performing that you could now update and make them new and relevant again? So 100%. So when you're looking at your content, I think you should be asking yourself which pages have good click-through rates, which pages drive the most traffic, which converting, and really kind of analysing. So do they have enough high intent keywords? Can you go back through them and make them perform better? And as well as, have you got content for each part of your funnel? What do you need more of?
Yeah.
Are you making sure that you're appealing to each part of your audience and knowing at which
stage? Where are they?
Yeah, exactly.
Where are they in the buying process?
Yeah, exactly. So what types of content I've skipped forward. You go.
That's me. So once you've got this great content, be it articles, white papers, even product pages, what can you do to optimize these? So obviously we have this great content, we've got keywords in there, there's other things we need to do first. So title tags are highly important. They're obviously what shows the name of your webpage on Google. You can template these to make it much easier for yourself, particularly if you're in e-commerce. So say you are a condiment company. You want to put wholesale ketchup supplier or wholesale barbecue sauce supplier. So you will have on your SEO plugin. So obviously we're big fans of Yoast. So we use on the title tags on the Yoast plugin, we'll say wholesale, product page, and then supplier. So each of your product pages, and as you add more, they'll already have keyword driven title tags. And then obviously alt tags. So any pictures you use on the website should have alt tags to tell Google what is that picture. It's great for accessibility purposes as well. And all these images with the right size. I do get told off every now and then for uploading a really big image to a website.
Your web developer will come after
yes.
you. Warning.
Bit of a slap on the wrist. So these need to be appropriate size. They can't be too big because that will ultimately slow your website down. Linking around the site, internal linking is massively important. It shows Google priority around your website. It shows this is page is important. This is what this topic is about.
Yeah.
And then within these pages, have you got headers? So there's one structured content for your audience, which helps them to read it better, but also tells Google what the priority of the pages are. So you'll need H1s, H2s, H3s, H4s, 5s, just to show priority of the page.
Yeah, perfect.
And obviously, as we go, every site will have errors. No site will be perfect. So if any pages have come off, you'll have 404 errors. These are great to be identified in Google Search Console. Any image errors, images break every now and then, so we just want to replace those. And then review content regularly. What content's done well, what's out of date, so you can bring it back up to date and repurpose it.
Yeah, 100%. But of course, it's not about SEO all of the time. I know that's sort of strange to say in an SEO webinar, but it's not. So, but definitely from a content sort of point of view, SEO is only part of the story. Great messaging is key. So according to research, unclear messaging is actually the #1 reason B2B buyers leave websites. So apparently up to 46% of people will leave a website if it's not immediately clear what it is that you do. And which is huge, really, because you've spent all of this time investing in your SEO, bringing great content, bringing people to your site, only to have them leave immediately. It's not enough to drive that traffic. You really have to want to keep them here. So a few tips I would say is keep your message simple and clear. What is it that you're trying to do? Put your audience at the center. What value are you offering them? And avoid sort of jargon, don't overcomplicate it.
Don't be too witty while it's nice.
Yeah, and sometimes it can be really, really nice to read, and you can have a lovely story in Office, but if it's not immediately clear to your audience what it is that you're actually trying to do for them,
they're off.
Then you run the risk of them leaving, which defeats the whole object. So, but I would say, word of warning, be careful not to strip it back too far. As I say, you can overcomplicate, but you can also oversimplify. And if you are far too concise, and you run the risk of stripping away actually all that lovely keywords, and especially semantic keywords as well, which are really important for bringing those people to your website and your rankings and things. So I would definitely just be wary of that.
Yes. Yeah. Run the risk of boring people.
Yes. Yeah, that too. So I know I'm aware of a lot of what I'm saying is a contradiction, but a nice happy medium, I think, is what we're going to go for here.
So overall, in 2024, if you want to add just those few little tactics for your SEO, keep it consistent. Don't pick up and put down SEO. It's a consistent thing. Just set aside time each month to kind of update your website, plan for the coming months, track your rankings. There's plenty of tools online to track your rankings, so you can see where you're performing well, where it needs to be picked up. What I'd recommend is if you're ranking in, say, 6th place, they're the ones you should focus on rather than page 2. The 6th place will be the easiest ones to push up because they're below the fold. And review your traffic and the source. So where can you make improvements? Is it social? Is it email marketing? Is it your organic traffic? So is it SEO? Is it paid ads? And just keep track of it all. Yeah.
And on that point as well, so website traffic. So sorry to tell you, Google, but unfortunately, it's not all about you, babe. So I know this webinar is literally called "Is There a Secret Recipe to Google?" But when we talk about search, I don't want to just limit it to search engines. There are obviously other things out there. Search is multi-channel, and it starts so much earlier than it used to. So a good place to start is social media. So social media is also a search engine. So research suggested that TikTok is now overtaking Google for search, which I think is especially true for Gen Z.
Exactly.
And I know personally, like when I went away recently, I didn't Google where to go eat and where to drink and what to see. I went on TikTok for it.
It's so visual as
Yeah,
well. It's
exactly.
a much nicer way to find out.
Exactly, and it relates really back well to what we were saying with SGE as well,
Yeah, exactly.
and video coming in with that. I think short form video and visual content is really having its time. I mean, I know we've been saying video's king for a long time, but it really is king at the moment, and I think TikTok does this beautifully, and it just shows that. So don't write off social media as kind of one
Just
thing.
something.
It is being used as a search engine, and so it's really important. Obviously, I do think good content, good social, and SEO, they all go hand in hand. So this all helps improve your EEAT, which in turn helps your rankings. And EEAT stands for, of course, experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. And I definitely didn't just read that.
So all your content needs to answer, does it meet EAT standards?
Yeah, 100%. But it's also important to remember as well that social media creates backlinks, and higher distribution of your content builds credibility on search engines, which is really important to remember, as that, of course, in turn helps your rankings. So another thing I think that should factor into your search strategy is email marketing. So again, it's really good for building website traffic. And the interesting thing about email marketing is that these people are already invested. So you can gain some really high intent website visitors by using email marketing. And of course, when used correctly, it can also lead to increased purchases and inquiries and a higher ROI and return rate, because of course they are already invested.
Exactly.
So if you're not using social media and website and email marketing in your search strategy, I think you're really missing a trick. So because obviously it all goes towards improving your rankings, because extra website visitors will help signal to search engines that your content has value.
Yeah, it tells Google these people know what they're talking about.
Yeah, which is always a win for business. So
just to conclude, obviously we've been through a lot of things, but there are some really simple things to do to improve your rankings in 2024. Don't forget that ultimately Google wants to provide users with the best search experience. So you should be doing the same on your website. You should be providing the best experience on your website for visitors, whether that's a fast loading page, optimized on mobile, some great content for them to read, really informative product pages. Yeah, your website is key.
100%.
And then, but also remember,
sorry, we're full of contradictions today, aren't we?
No site will ever have perfect SEO. I don't care what people say. No, there will always be things to improve on a website. And obviously more Google algorithm changes will come to contend with. So don't worry about trying to capture all these things at once. Work through them slowly, make sure they're where they need to be.
Yeah, 100%. And of course, there will always be changes in future. So I wouldn't try and be perfect all of the time, because Google will change its mind eventually anyway.
Google's also not perfect. Google can go back sometimes. They'll openly admit that when they make mistakes. So
that's so bad. But anyway, thank you for joining us today. Really hope that you found it insightful, and we've given you some key things to think about for 2024. Of course, if you do have any questions, please pop them down in the comments, or feel free to reach out to me or Beck with any questions, and be happy to help.
Perfect. And if you've got any what's the word I'm thinking of?
Recommendations?
Requests for 2024 webinars, please put them in the comments as well.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. This is our last webinar now for 2023, but we will definitely be back in 2024. So is there anything that you'd like us to cover? Please pop them in the comments. And so thank you so much. Take care. Bye.
Bye.